Hi there, everybody. This is Mark Bromley, your author and artist of the Yoranthium book series. And I guess you wanted to hear about a sculpture piece of mine that I wanted to show you. Do I do sculpture? Yes, I do. How did the sculpture come about? Well, that's because some really terrible people inside the North Korea, which is North Glen of Colorado, in Adams County here of Colorado, the North Korea, they thought I should sculpt a certain image, and I did. I call it the Yagrallmagrund. It looks like a cosmic horror, doesn't it? It has these tentacles and these little claws and these little bat wing looking things with claws on them, and the little mouth with a little beak, some little tentacles, a bunch of tentacles. And yeah, this became one of the monstrous creatures that I describe in the Yoranthium book series, Lost Hope, the first book. Towards the end, you get introduced to these guys. And they're pretty massive, they're pretty big, and the real terrible stuff that happens because of these things begins in that book, and it's quite a shocker for most people. And yeah, this is a small little 3D sculpture. It was actually intended for a game called Warhammer 40K, and it was supposed to be a spore chimney. Um, and it's like the height of I'd say uh, I'd say about 5 or 6 25 millimeter figures, humanoid figures. So yeah, they're very small compared to these. These are very tall, very big, and I describe them pretty well in the Uranthium book series because there's an actual model that they're based on, and this is a resin casted model that I did. It was made out of actual drywall material, paper and drywall, and that's how I sculpted it. That was the material that I used for it, and then I put it in a resin cast. And I can make more of these, hundreds of them if I wanted to. And yeah, if you wanted a miniature model or a large sculpture made by me, I do that too. And this is one of my latest sculptures, and it's uh, rather grotesque. It's cosmic horror. I guess a lot of people relate that back to one individual, but we find out that in the Bible, cosmic horror was identified by when the angels came to earth and made uh, human women their wives and had children called the Nephilim. This is what that kind of became. And so, yeah, the very first cosmic horror is actually biblical. So, yeah, you guys all go back and say it was Lovecraft that created it. No, it's not Lovecraftian. It's biblic. It's biblical. It's the Bible. It is monstrosities that have always existed on this world for a very long time that people can't quite fathom. It's a little maddening to create them. And this is like one of those cosmic horror pieces. This is something that is difficult to describe. And as you can see, there's a lot of weird things going on here in this little sculpture, but it's a darn good sculpture. It rightly is so. And I got many of them. I can make a whole bunch of them. I still got the molds for them. So yeah, if you want this cast again and again and again, just let me know. I'll make a whole bunch of them. We'll have a whole series of these all over the place. And yeah, and that's all just because somebody thought I should sculpt a certain object. And so yeah, there it is. There's that object. And I think I did pretty well on that one. And guess you can enjoy it. Yeah, it's a really good model. You'll probably like it a lot. And yeah, I put it in the Uranthium book series in the end because it's a pretty good monstrous looking kind of creature. And yeah, we're going to talk about that a little bit more in the Uranthium book series about the Nephilim and what they actually are. We're going to talk about Gaianism, the earth spirit, if you will, which I talk about as well. I call him the Mother Gaiagan. These are Gaiagans. That's what they're called. They're like tree-like creatures that take care of nature, nurture nature. There's nymphs in there. There's a whole bunch of Feyfolken, fairy folk, basically, that are actually talked about in the book series of Yoranthium. And we use that to actually illustrate some concepts of modern politics, modern theology, modern religion, modern beliefs, modern values that are an extensive history of teachings here in our world. In the all over the world, there's theology, mythology. There's paganistic values, Wiccan values, Gaianism, which is a worldview about nature, communing with nature. There's a whole bunch of people that are actually into that kind of belief system. And so my books actually do cater to that. Part of the reason why the Yoranthium book series wanted to go to the Burning Man was to weep for humanity. Basically, it was to let them know that what they were doing out there in the desert is not really ecologically sound, because that part of the desert, the reason why it exists the way it is, wasn't just to provide a place to party. It was actually part of nature itself. And a lot of people that go out there, they pretend to believe that they care about nature and stuff, but they don't. All they wanted to do was trash the place. And but nature itself rained on their parade, literally rained on their parade, and wept for humanity because it taught them the lessons of what that was. It was a quagmire out there of mud, dust and dirt and soot. It wasn't really there for them to burn wood and release carbons into the air and destroy things and turn it all into some kind of dystopian lifestyle world that they all wanted to live in back in the 2020s. I think I ran for election at the wrong time, but you know what? When good people want to do good things, they take on bad messages, and the Democrat Party was delivering the worst messages ever. And that's what caused the Uranthium book series to have to be written. Because in book 2, you'll see I'm going to talk to you about the nature of the womb worlds, the nature of life itself, which is actually based on reality. Because, the human soul is formed at conception when the two chromosomes come together and form a DNA chain. They release a chemical, and chemical communication is the very fundamental of life itself. It's called human chorionic gonadotropin, HCG. I call it ECG in the book because we're talking about elves. But nonetheless, that's the very first communication that the blastocyst has with the mother to convince the mother of implantation. Because if the message doesn't work, it's called a miscarriage. That's a natural process. But if it's accepted, the communication's successful, meaning that the child got permission from the mother and the mother accepted the child. But a third of our population is so cruel and brutal that they abuse pregnant women all the time. A third of the population literally does that. And the people that are selling that message is that third of the population that wants to kill our world, that wants to abort us, that wants to destroy us, and wants to destroy humanity. These are some real evil people that you guys have been listening to in that message. Instead of trying to make it a positive message about what nature is, nature about life, I can understand weighing the life of the mother's life and the child's life. That becomes a natural process. The value of life is a natural process. Miscarriage is good. It's lawful. But abortion is bad. It's murder. It's killing. Understanding those two concepts is very important in our society. And like I said, a lot of people would go out there to the Burning Man thinking that they were supporting Gaianism, but they're not. They're burning things, they're destroying things, they're looting, they're pillaging, they're plundering, they're dropping off their trash, and they're not cleaning up after themselves because they just went out there to party, not to care about nature. And my message got delivered by the heavens itself. Who wept for humanity? The earth did it itself. That means I have some kind of connection to the earth itself and nature itself in my own artwork and in the things that I design and create. My sculptures are like that. And these are the reasons why you should support my art efforts. Go to my website, get my t-shirts, help me out with my book series, buy my books, and create a good feeling and a good outlook for our future. Don't give in to the evil outlook that the Democrats are pushing, that the World Economic Forum, the globalists, and the children of the Nazis are pushing. Don't give in to that. Give in to a higher humanity. That's what I'm just asking you to do. Give in to a higher humanity. Support my artwork. Give in to a higher humanity. Okay? Thanks.